Good morning, everyone. It's always a pleasure to have you. If you're new here, I promise you're going to love the contents that we put out. So today we're going to talk about Russia and Ukraine. On June 6th, Ukraine actually took Russia by surprise by sending some drone attacks to Russia, destroying some few Russian combat plane. And Russia had to retaliate. I have to say this. I believe that Zelenskyy doesn't learn his lesson. I don't know if he believes that he can win the war. Do you realize that Russia has the same military capability of the United States of America? When it comes to military arsenals, Russia is impeccable. Russia is extremely strong. They have the latest weapons. They have, they have the army. They have the numbers. They have every single thing you can possibly think about or think of. But yet, he doesn't learn his lesson. I don't understand how this guy doesn't learn his lesson. And I don't know what he was expecting to have happened by sending these drones to destroy Russian planes. On June 6th, the president of Russia, President Putin, actually retaliated, and his retaliation was massive. So really quick, I want us to watch this video for us to pretty much get better context of what is going on. So let me break down specifically what happened for you to understand what is going on between Russia and Ukraine and the United States and some few other countries, the surrounding countries. All right. So as you could see in the video, there's a tension between, there's a war that's been going on between Russia and Ukraine. And we're going to talk about, what specifically is going on and what specifically happened. You know how we do here. We give you specificities, specific informations. All right, let us start. On June 6, 2025, Russia launched a massive retaliatory attack on Ukraine in response to a coordinated Ukraine, drone strike campaign known as Operation Spider's Web. These Ukrainian operations targeted multiple air bases in the Russian territories, destroying valuable Russian aircrafts, including long-range Tu-22 M3 strategic bombers, a significant blow to Russia's aerial capabilities. Ukraine's drone strikes marked of the most ambitious long-range attack inside Russia since the start of the war in 2022. The operation involved dozens of drones. Some reportedly reaches as far as Dagestan, about 1,000 kilometers of Ukraine's borders. These drones were launched at night and targeted airfields, exposing vulnerabilities in Russia's defense systems. The key goal of Ukraine's defenses were to destroy Russians' operations, especially long-range bombing campaigns, to demonstrate reach and precision, both strengthening Ukraine morale and weakening Russia's confidence. The second one is to limit Russia air support. The Russia response was swift and massive. The Kremlin described Ukraine drone offensive as a terrorist attack, accusing Kiev to escalating the war and threatening civilian safety. Over 400 drones, mostly short-head tags, low ammunitions, had at least 45 ballistic missiles that were launched in Ukraine territories. The aerial assault targeted Kiev, Kharkiv, Dnipro, Lviv, and other major cities, as well as infrastructure such as electrical substations, fuel depots, communication hubs, military logistics centers. The impact was very massive. At least 4 civilians were killed and over 50 were injured across Ukraine. The barrage caused the power outages, fires, and transportation disruptions. In Kiev alone, air defensive shots, incoming drones and missiles. But it actually caused destructions in neighboring neighborhoods. The Russian Ministry of Defense saw it as a punishment or warning, indicating that deeper Ukraine strikes will provide broader retaliation. I personally like that because Russia, people don't actually realize how Russia is powerful. The Russia army, the Russia ammunitions, the arsenals in Russia. Russia is a very powerful nation. That's most of the time. That's why, have you realized that a lot of countries, America, can bully a lot of countries. But when it comes to Russia, the Americans can't do much. They can't do much because they know how Russia is powerful. So just to see a small country like Ukraine trying to invade or trying to wage a war against Russia, that's crazy. Russia state media portrays the retaliation as defensive justice, emphasizing Russia's ability to escalate when challenged. Ukrainian President Zelenskyy responded by urging Western allies to help them with weapons, specifically long-range air defenses, more M16s, and advanced radars. The European Union and NATO condemned Russia's retaliation as disproportionate and inhumane, especially when it affected or had some casualties. And Ukrainian analysts called Russia's response a sign of panic and overreaction, knowing that Moscow is increasingly sensitive to attack on its own soil. Russia's reactions to Ukraine's drone invasion was both military aggressive and politically strategic. It demonstrated Russia's need to maintain domestic control. Russia's retaliations highlighted that the war is far from contained and could escalate unpredictably, depending on how far each side is willing to go. Russia launches massive strike attacks on Ukraine. Russia launched large-scale drone and missile strikes on Ukraine capital and other parts of the country early on Friday. Officials have said at least 5 people were killed and 49, which was like about 50 people, were injured in strikes, according to Ukraine's President Zelenskyy. The aerial raids targeted the capital Kyiv as well as the city of Lusk and the Ternopil region in the northwest of the region. Russia's defense ministry said the strikes were in response to terrorism act by the Kyiv regime, adding that it had targeted military sites. It said its armed forces overnight launched a massive strike with high-precision, long-range air, sea, and ground-based weapons, as well as attack drones. The attack came after Russia President Vladimir Putin warned U.S. President Donald Trump he will respond to Ukraine's recent strikes on Russia's air base. Russia's latest attack on Ukraine comes days after Kyiv launched its latest long-range drone strike on the at least 40 Russian warplanes. 40 Russian warplanes at 4 military bases. That's a lot of aircraft. That's a lot. Zelenskyy said 117 drones were used in the so-called spiderweb operations by the SBU security service, striking 34% of Russia's strategic cruise missiles carriers. Authorities say Friday's attacks included 38 cruise missiles, which is the kind of Ukraine's targeted in Sunday operations. Zelenskyy said that 3 deaths had been confirmed in the strikes, all employees of Ukraine's state emergency services. He said the attack were more than 400 drones and more than 40 missiles, and the number of people injured were increased in a post on X. All right, so right here we actually see what was going on, or what's going on in Russia and in Ukraine, or between Russia and Ukraine. And frankly, this is my takeaway on exactly what is going on. I believe that the president of Ukraine, President Zelenskyy, is actually motivated, or he's been acting as a pawn by other people. I'm not going to mention names or mention countries, by other people, because frankly, it doesn't take a genius to realize that this war cannot be won by the Ukraine people, by people in Ukraine, because how the disposition of Russia. For those who don't know, Russia is an extremely powerful country. That's why, for those who don't know, about the U.S. The U.S. actually can talk about other countries, can bully other countries. But when it comes to Russia, they can't do anything because they know that Russia's army is actually very, very powerful. So I want you guys to understand this. Russia is a very powerful country. For those, and they also have the best military, the best or the latest technology when it comes to military weapons. So whenever it comes to a war, this war waged against Ukraine, if Russia wanted to destroy the whole of Ukraine, that would have happened already a long time ago. But the thing is, President Putin doesn't want this to happen. He doesn't want casualties. He doesn't want to incur casualties. Putin actually wants the war to stop. That's why he's not even doing anything right now. He's not doing anything to to the people in Ukraine to make them suffer. So I believe that President Zelenskyy, after I believe that President Zelenskyy should calm down. He should calm down. He should end this war. He came to the US. He had a meeting in the Oval Office in the White House, and President Donald Trump told him to end this war. And President Trump said he's not going to receive any other support, any other financial or military support from the United States. And frankly, it's normal because it is not the war of the American people. All right. So if the Ukrainian government or the Ukrainian president wants to continue the war, he should continue the war with his own resources. And I believe that he doesn't have much. That's why he's seeking for aid. And that's why when in the US the change of government happened between President Biden to President Trump, the war actually had to reduce, or the casualties had to reduce because the aid has ceased. So this is what I believe. I believe that Russia is actually doing what Russia is supposed to do. It's normal for any country to retaliate whenever they are being invaded. All right, whenever they are being invaded, whenever there's casualties, whenever there's loss of equipment, and we're talking about 40 planes. That's a lot of planes that were destroyed, and I believe that Russia had all the right to retaliate. So thank you very much for staying to the end. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think in a comment. Don't go before dropping a comment. Let us know what you think. Let us know what you think President Zelenskyy, the president of Ukraine, should do from now going forward. Let us know what you think, how you think President Putin actually handled the situation, or let us know what you think should normally happen. All right. Thank you very much for staying till the end of this video. Until next time, stay safe. Peace.